Welcome to Radio Fixer's channel. Subscribe for upcoming videos. Alright, this is the next radio I'm going to work on. It's not in great condition, as you can see. One of the bell is missing there, so I need to create something like that. You see all the clear coat, it comes out. It seems like they stain it. They put clear coat over it. A clear coat is gone. Let's see what I can do about this, if this is fixable or not. Let me show you the other side. Of course, this is where the speaker is. And this is, of course, is the top of the radio. And the on and off switch should be here. I'm going to try to see if I can save this radio. I always wanted one of this, and finally I found one. But of course, it's not in good condition. And that's what the fun thing about this is. You know, if it's good condition, I don't need to do anything with it. I want project, right? I want to find something that I can work on. Otherwise, you know, it's not going to be fun for me. Anyway, just want to show you around this radio. So let's get it started. Enjoy the video. As I mentioned earlier, you know, one of these bell is missing. So I have to duplicate this. And this color of a stain, I never liked. This is like 1950s stain. It's like a cherry type. I never were crazy about it. Let's see if I can make this thing a little darker. All these marks. First, I'm going to see if I can clean it or not. You see, I'm glad that it has this underneath that has a schematic. If I need it, it's right here. I'm glad this is still here. Anyway, I think this is going to be a fun project. What do you think? You might say, Jay, why you keep working in this broke down radio? Don't you have any good radio? Yes, I do have some great radio. That doesn't need work, but those are not fun. I like to work in something that'd be fun. Always the way I operate is, can I fix this? It's like a challenge to me. Can I fix this? And that's how usually I choose the project I'm going to work on. This is a big radio. So you see the condition of this, right? I'm not that crazy about this color. I never liked this cherry. I call it cherry stain. I like a little darker. All right, let's see what I can do with this. Need to take it apart, of course. Seems like there are some screws here that is going to take the top off. Let me remove that first. Right, all the 4 screws are out. Let's remove this. Pretty neat inside, isn't it? Seems like a vacuum tube is missing. See, one vacuum tube is missing. How many tubes it has? There's 2 here, 3, 4, 5. So there's a 5-tube radio. That is pretty interesting. I guess to remove this from the chassis, everything needs to come apart. Oh, the tube is inside. What's here? The vacuum tube is there. That is awesome. I didn't know it was there. That is great. Hopefully the tubes are in good condition. Usually I video it, so later on when I want to put it together, I remember. Like what colors goes what side of the wires, how it comes apart. See that wire there? I assume that is the external antenna. They made it so simple to take it apart. Alright, put the tube back here. I'm glad it was here because I was thinking, I said, man, now I need to look for a tube for this radio. But I will test all the tubes on my tube tester to make sure that they're all fine. So let me take this apart. See this, the way they hook it up. This is some type of like a cloth rope. They run it inside, you see, and also they staple it right here. You see that? They staple it to secure it, then they made like a nuts right there. Let me take this out. I want to show you another thing. With this handle right here, see when I turn, that turn. That's how you change the station. Wow, I never saw anything like this before. Do you see that? Let me close that. Usually that's what I do. Close it totally so it doesn't get damaged before I take it apart. Very interesting. There's 2 knobs here. So you see, by turning this, what you're up there is moving. I never knew that. What does it say here? This is the volume. And this is the tone. See, if I want to do anything with this sustain, then I have to create all those. Let's take the knobs off. Very interesting design. I need to take a clear picture of this so later on if I need to be able to duplicate. It's going to be a tough one to duplicate. See, this is on and off switch. Again, the way they designed this is just very interesting. Very, very interesting. I assume that's on and this is off. When you put this here, like that, you see, the weight of it is going to shut it off. When you take it out, then it's going to come on. Maybe it's vice versa. We will figure it out. But very interesting design. This Glide company, which I have several of, is the radio. They did a great job of designing all this. Alright, let me take it apart. I think the speaker is going to be easiest one to remove because you just press this down like that. You pull this wire out like that. So you see I mark it R, that's the right side. Of course I use a little tape to do that. Later on I know exactly how to install it. Sometimes this is very important, what direction you're going to install them. My understanding is if you put the wrong direction, you know the sound is not going to be as clear. Alright, let's remove this handle. Just unscrew it and it should pull out. At least that's my hope, right? Yeah, it came out. Alright, let's continue with the speaker. There's one more here. Wire. Okay, this one is out as well. Both is out. Now I can just lift this up like that, I hope. Yeah, it comes out. Speaker is in good condition. I'm so glad. I don't need to do anything with this speaker. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put a cover over this. All my video I discuss how important it is to do that. Believe me, if you don't cover it, by mistake you're going to put your finger through the speaker cone, then it's a big mess. So let's cover it, okay? So you need a lid like this to cover it. You see, it fits just perfect here. Put a couple of twisties to just secure it. And that one is protected, you see? Alright, let's put it aside. My electrical cord is broken. Like here. I never saw something like this before. What happened to the rest of this plug? I love this type of design, but unfortunately it's broken. You never know when you buy the radio, you know, you never know what condition it is. The fun thing about it, take it apart to see what's going on. Alright, I finally figured out how to take this out. You see this screw right here? You just loosen that up, then this handle comes out. You can take the chassis out. This is my concern. I think this is some type of asbestos. They put it under the chassis because, you know, the chassis creates so much heat, and that's definitely asbestos. So to do this, you know, you need to wear a mask, very special mask, and do it outside the house, bag it, then find out what's the best way to get rid of it. Definitely it's here, or it's already start breaking off, and that is not good. So that was right under this chassis. Let's check this chassis. I don't see any asbestos around here, but I'm going to clean it up. I see something right there. All need to be cleaned. That's why I brought it outside the house. Whenever you work on radios, you have to check everything before you do any type of work. So I'm going to wear my mask and try to get rid of this. All right? As you see, I put it in the plastic bag. That's that asbestos. Of course, the gloves that I used, the paper towel, whatever I used, put it here. I sealed it. Then I can dispose this. Definitely do that. You want to get rid of that. You don't want to keep that, all right? Some people, they say keep that and just seal it, but I don't do that. I remove them. I don't want any type of asbestos around anyone. Again, make sure to do this. All right. I brought the chassis inside after cleaning it very well outside. Again, I suggest to do that. Don't do it inside the house. So here there's so many paper capacitors. One of them, like the wax is coming out. See this one. I assume the chassis got so hot and that's what happened to it. See right here as well. But the rest, they're okay. So let me remove this to show you the condition of this capacitor. Alright, I removed this capacitor. Look at how bad it was. You see all the wax came off this side. Of course here, this is how it looked like. I measured it, still holds some value. Let me show you. This is crazy. Like it shows 39 nanofarad. That's about close to 0.4 microfarad. You see that? This is crazy. It's a 0.05 microfarad. Even this capacitor is such a bad condition, but it's still, reading. That's crazy. What I will do, I'm going to install one of these. This is a 0.05, they call it yellow jacket capacitor. I'm going to install it inside here. Let's measure this. Always measure capacitor before you're installing it, because you don't want to install something that might went bad in the manufacturing plant. See, 50 nanofarad is equal to 0.05 microfarad. So you want to test all capacitor before you installing it. So let's remove inside this wax and also the old capacitor to install that inside. If you would like to learn more about working with this type of capacitors, I highly recommend watching my videos, how to restuff vintage paper and molded capacitors, and using a smartphone to identify the capacitor outside foil. I cover the entire process in detail and share techniques that will help you complete the job successfully and achieve excellent results. And let's replace the electrical cord in this radio. As you know, majority of the old radio, it comes with non-polarized plug. What that means, you see they're same size. You see that? So the problem with this is when you hook it up to house plug, you don't know which side it goes to the switch and which side to the chassis. For safety, I always replace them because I want to make sure the hot always goes to the switch and neutral always goes to the chassis. So I replaced it with something like this. This is polarized. These are different size. See that? So when you plug this to the house plug, this is always neutral, goes to the chassis. The small one, this one, always is hot. This always goes on and off switch. Some of the wires, they actually mark them to tell you which one is hot and which one is not. See, here has some writing on it. See, this one is hot. But I always double check. What I do, because I want to mark them, is this thing so hard to see, they're so small. I get my multimeter, put it in the sound position right here, then When I put in the small side or the hot side, then if I touch this wire doesn't sound, that means that's neutral. If this I touch, it should make sound. You see that? It means that is hot, alright? So what I do to remember, get a highlighter, you know, right here I highlighted as well red. So I know this is hot, because again, this is so hard to see. Anyway, yeah, you always want to do that. The hot side goes to the on and off switch. Always you want to do that for safety of others, alright? Hopefully this will help you as well. One thing I want to share with you, to remove this plastic that it hold the wire to the frame, the best method is to use something like this. Of course, you hold it like this, you press it, you pull it out, and it's the same process you use to push this in. Otherwise, you know, you're going to have a hard time to remove this. Alright? Alright, reinstall this back, solder both sides, of course. I'm going to test this radio to see if it works or not by just replacing that capacitor. Usually I replace all of them, all the paper capacitor, but I want to test it before, you know, replacing them. I work in 2 other radios that was manufactured with this company called Guild, and both of those radios, the capacitor range was in perfect range. So I'm going to see if this radio is going to work or not. Of course, down the road I can replace all this, but I want to see if it works or not. So now we checked everything. As you know, before you hook it up to electricity, you have to hook it up to the variac, to oscillation transformer, and also dim bulb tester. I'm going to walk you through step by step. When you purchase the radio, after you check everything and it seems like okay, then you can test it to see if it works or not. But I highly suggest replace all the paper capacitor, the electrolytic capacitor, which is, this is electrolytic capacitor. You want to replace those. You can stuff them like this. I'm going to put a video here to walk you through step by step how to work on this type of capacitor called electrolytic capacitor. I'm trying to save time in this video, so I'm not going to walk you through all those. So watch that video. Another video, how to stuff this. You know, there's a couple of different ways you can do it, and that you can even put a beeswax on it if you want to. But at this time, I just want to test this. As I mentioned earlier, this is on and off switch. You put the handle on, the radio goes off. When you take the handle off, the radio going to come on. And it's pretty interesting design, as I mentioned earlier. So let's hook it up. Before we start this radio, let's watch this short video together which explains what type of equipment you need to test the radio. Now let's talk about some safety issue. You're dealing with electricity. It's very dangerous. It can kill you, so be very careful, please. You need a few equipment that you can purchase it in Amazon. First one, you must have isolated transformer to keep you safe when you work in the antique radios. And also variac, you can actually adjust the amount of electricity comes inside the radio. And this one, the dim bulb tester, you can actually build this yourself. You can Google it. There is tons of information out there. This is the setup I'm using on my workbench. Please make sure to use this equipment to keep you safe. Alright, the radio is on, as you can tell right here. So next I'm going to start the variac. You know, start very low voltage and gradually going to increase it. I sometimes start 5 volt. You know, you can start at the max 10 volts on variac. And let's set for about 10 to 15 minutes. It will take some time. What you want to do, you want to make sure all the capacitors charge slowly. Since these radios are sitting for a long time, you don't want to give it 120 volts right away. You're going to mess up all the capacitors. So after waiting about 10 to 15 minutes on 10 volts, you can adjust the variac to 20 volts. Again, wait 10 to 15 minutes. If it's longer, that's fine as well. Then gradually again do the same process over and over every 10 volts. Watch the dim bulb tester. When you're testing this, if the dim bulb tester comes on bright, turn everything off. That means something is wrong with the radio. Hopefully that makes sense, all right? And the radio light is not going to come on because there is not enough electricity. This light bulb comes on around 60 volts. You see the light came on just a little bit. So I'm going to adjust this, put it now in 70 volts, and I'm going to wait about again 10 to 15 minutes. Then of course gradually you go up and up, right? You see, right on 80 volts the radio came on. That is awesome. Do you hear it? 80 volt, the radio gonna come on. I'm excited, man. The radio is working. I share with you, this brand is a great brand. Guild. You know, this is my third radio I worked on, and always capacitor is in perfect condition. Now we're gonna go to 90 volts. Can you hear it? I'm not even adjusting the volume. So if you're gonna wait again 10 minutes or so, again, you wanna take your time, don't rush it. Even I'm sitting right around 90 volts. I'm gonna wait 10 to 15 minutes to get it to 120 volts. All right? Yeah, this is working so awesome. So let's wait a few minutes. Right now it's sitting in 120 volts, and the dim bulb light is totally off, and everything is working pretty well. Let me adjust the volume. I think this is the volume. Yeah, you see that?
How about this? The Blazers have so they give him a 4-year deal? No. They gave him a 5-year deal.
I don't know if you can hear it or not.
They gave him a 1-year deal. It's essentially what only the first year is guaranteed.
Of course, this is for
option years.
tuning.
Year 2, year 3. So this is a guaranteed 1-year contract with their new head coach, Micah Nori, who has been an assistant under Chris Finch over there with the Minnesota Timberwolves for a number of years. Now he gets his job, you know, he gets his chance to be a head coach in the NBA.
All right, I'm going to turn it down. That's exciting, man. It's working. Of course, later on, you know, if I choose to, I'm going to replace all the capacitor with a new one. But my plan was just to show you how to test the radio when you purchase it. So what I need to do next, work on the cabinet. As you know, the cabinet was not in good condition, and I'm not that crazy about the color of that cabinet. I'd like to make it maybe a little darker. I haven't decided what color yet. Also, I need to make all the labels that were missing or was so hard to read in this radio. So I'm going to make all those labels as well. The label goes behind the radio, where it has all the schematic. Let's see if I can fix that as well. I need to recreate a missing bell. You know, one of the bell was missing in this radio, which is fun. You know, that's what I like to do. As I mentioned earlier, I like to fix things. You know, if I buy a radio, which I have so many of them, they don't need that much work, but it's more fun to work in the radios that, you know, rebuilding them, sometimes restoring them. It's a really fun hobby. I suggest pretty highly, if you haven't started this, get it started. You have nothing to lose, you know, it's just fun. Keep you busy, and it's just so much joy when the radio actually comes on and you're able to finish it. Such a great feeling, because you brought something back to life that was totally dead. So let me work on those things, and hopefully next video we can finish this radio. Alright, so stay tuned for upcoming video. I'll be honest with you, it takes so much time to make these videos, editing, uploading, and make sure there's enough information that it actually makes sense, you know, if you want to follow. At this time, I want to take the opportunity and thank my subscribers with their uplifting comments. You always encourage me to upload more videos. since this is just a hobby of mine. Again, I appreciate you. Enjoy all these videos, and you all have an awesome day. Take care. If you're interested to see more videos like this, feel free to subscribe to my channel, and you will be notified when a new video being uploaded. You have a great day.